Thanks for tuning in. Join us as we navigate the growing Cleveland film scene. Learn from the movers and shakers of movie makers in Northeast Ohio. See how they keep themselves busy, who they are, and how they do it. All right, here we go. This is take two on the podcast interview of Johnny K. Wu. Johnny, you want to say hi to everybody at home?
Hey everybody, Johnny here. Thanks for watching and thank you for the opportunity to be here again.
Yeah. So for the viewers at home who don't know, we had a bit of an issue. We tried to record it last time and there was a bit of an audio malfunction halfway through. So we had this great shot. We have this conversation. You can hear my audio really clear from the internal microphone. But we had this other camera setup that was not gathering the audio halfway through. And so then you just see Johnny giving all this great advice, and you can see he's animated, he's into it, and loving it. And then watch later, and the audio cut out about halfway through. So that was fun. But we're gonna give this a try again, and we'll try and make it seem like it's the first time, and like we're not just recreating the first one. But
all right, we'll do our best.
Yes. So please, we apologize for that. But just kind of getting started on it, just so people understand what some of your top projects. I know Inner Self is one of them. You got the poster behind you there. We talked about that. But if you can, mention to people, some of the feature films you've been able to work on.
Sure. I have been making movies since 1998 and have about 7 feature films that I actually produced or directed or co-produced to get out to the market. The last 2 ones are The Inner Self, which is it's available right now on Amazon Prime. And then I also had the Wuxia 2, which is going to come out as Immortal Combat at the end of May. That probably come out in Blu-ray or Amazon and video on demand and so on and so on. So that'd be some 2 days to look forward for it. And one feature film called Maximilian. It's going to be, I'm the executive producer for that one. That's coming out by the beginning of May. The new name for that for the distribution is going to call Assassin's Game. So check that out. That's Keith Collins' feature film.
Nice. Well, I do want to talk to you. I don't think we talked about it the first time, but I do want to talk to you a little bit about what that's like to be able to kind of hand off those films, to be able to have them marketed to people, and why some of those names get changed and all that. But if you can, kind of talk to me about, I know there was a good little tidbit I wanted to make sure that we went over again, the fact that you were saying with some of the films, don't expect to make money right away. And can you talk to me a little bit about why that is?
So, yes. With my background and my experience with all the different distribution things that I've been doing and talked to lots of sales agents and distributors, one thing I have learned about is when you sign a contract with a distributor, you usually are not going to be able to get any money up front. Or you don't get any money the first year or second year because they sign a contract with you for 7 to 15 years. Some of them can be nicer. Some sales agent give it to you maybe a 3 years contract. And so they need to use that time to promote your movie, sell your movie, get all the buyers to buy your movie. And then they're also going to deduct the money they spend on your project. For example, if they had to re-edit your trailer, they're going to charge you money for that, $5,000 to $10,000. If they're going to redesign your poster, and they're going to have to charge you money for that, $5,000, $10,000. And those money adds up. And at the point where they can say that, because it's in your contract, they say that they can maximum spend about $30,000 to $40,000 for marketing expenses, which also means that you're never going to see your money the first year or second year because they're going to say, by the way, we spent $50,000 for designing, doing your trailer, rechange the name, and all this such and such and such. And then we're going to deduct it out for your total income that you're going to be coming. So the movie makes $50,000. The distributor spent $50,000. You got zero. So the best thing that you should do is never expect the first or second year to make money in. If you make money in the second year, you're lucky. That's based most of the time. People like to say that. But also remember that if you spend a lot of money to make your movie, think about the background in the sense of how much money you'll be able to recruit. Because then, let's say you make a movie for $30,000, you're probably not going to see your return of investment till 3-4 years later just because of that. By the way, if you hear my cat meow, that's because he wants my attention.
That's great. No, I think that alludes to what you were saying with we started talking about last time. Kind of having making sure that if you're trying to get started and you don't have as much money, make sure you're putting out films that aren't quite your stretch. Shouldn't be in a big budget for the first ones that you're making. If you're the kind of person that I need to make money sooner, I need to make money back on these, try and do good films, but keep them to at least for crew and budget and stuff like that. Try and keep that to a point at which you're still putting out high quality but not spending so much on that first one.
Exactly. That's the goal. It's the less you spend upfront, the faster you can see in the back end. And it's very important for investor and so on on the return of investment. Of course, if you have a celebrity involved, let's say you have Kevin Bacon, John Travolta, you can now be able to get your money back quicker because the distributors and sales agent can sell it quicker
Yeah, yeah.
because you. So it's a counter process. So if you're making like a drama comedy, it's always good to consider a celebrity involvement. So this way you have a chance to quicker sell.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I know that a bunch of different filmmakers have their different ways to be able to kind of keep that budget a little bit lower. I know that you had a unique way, though. You've actually been able to get some of the equipment that you work with through a unique route and been able to save some money on that. Can you explain to the people at home what that is?
Sure. So over 50% of my gears I have in my house are all free because of my involvement with different companies. They basically speaking, I have a small YouTube account. I do a lot of reviews on my YouTube account. I have a Amazon account which I spend almost weekly more than $1,000 so in products.
Wow.
So that builds in the sense of when I get the products, I make reviews in them back to them, and then post review on Amazon, post my review on YouTube. I'm involved over 300 different filmmaking user groups on Facebook. So people see my name all the time. So when you get to the point where people recognize you as an expert, quote unquote, because what you say you do, you can actually, then you have all the companies recognizing who you are. They say to you, hey, Johnny, I have this new microphone we just released. Would you like to do a test? So they send me a product as a prototype first. I can test it out. If I break them, I let them know that say, this product doesn't work, so it breaks on me and blah, blah, blah. Then they will send me a new one to test them out again. So that's how I accumulated shotgun mics, wireless HDMI transmitters, gimbal, some of the lens. The only thing I spend money on so far only is tripods and cameras.
Okay.
That's the only thing. The rest were, or even lights, ring lights, LED lights, all were free because they send me product for me to test them out.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And yeah, I can't get over that. That's a great route. And the thing that I know we talked about last time, I want to make sure we make clear to the audience, and especially young filmmakers who are trying to get started, use this as an example to get out there and do good work in video format, in whatever way it is. Stay busy, keep making stuff, and then if you're doing it right and you're doing a good professional job at other stuff that you're putting together, then that should translate into the film side of things.
Exactly, and that's very important. And I have clients who do corporate videos, and none of them because of me going out and promote myself. I don't promote myself. I just have people go check out my work and say, we like this guy, we like the way he does things. Let's hire him to do and produce an event. Let's hire him to do a video for a project and so on and so on. So that's how I get my clients. This one I've been doing it for full time and being very happy and say that I'm not too eager to get too many clients, but more than what I can handle and what I can handle with my freelance people are hired to do.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I know we talked about kind of what you do now. You do. I've seen you talk at a lot of different events too. I know you like to organize a lot of events, and I want to get to that. But can you talk to us a little bit about because I think I just glazed right over it, but kind of how you got started into doing filmmaking and video production?
Sure. I started film ideas in 1998 with a friend of mine who's very good in photography. So we team up, and he had all the 60 millimeter gears. So we just decided to say, he had the gears, I had the knowledge about how to organize stuff. So let's put our brain together and then we'll make it work. So I did our first feature film, Twisted, with 60 millimeter cameras. It shot for under $3,000. Unfortunately, we didn't release the movie because the film stock we used is it was no longer available for processing. So we have all the movies shot on film. It's not negative film. It's something else. I can't really know right now. It might be top of my head. So those films are still sitting in my fridge right now.
Oh my goodness.
So, reversal films. There you go. That's the word.
Okay, so
Rever-
wait, so there you might have another film then just waiting, like literally sitting in the freezer waiting to be
yeah.
cooked up once somebody processes or somebody puts that available to be able to process
Well,
that.
once the lab can process that, reversal films are harder to process. They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
basically it's basically shot everything in the way that so just basically already ready to go. So you can just take it to the lab, they process it, and ready to go.
Hmm.
The process is not very uh, generally available to the public, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
harder to get processing labs to do so.
Wow.
When we finished out shooting that, we didn't have time to actually send it out to the lab, so we decided to just wait. Unfortunately, waiting is a big mistake because all the film negative had been discontinued back then. Kodak finally got back again doing film, but right now they still don't do reversal very often. I think only there might be only one camera in Canada. But see, this project is so old and so ancient history. I don't feel like back again. Not to mention one of the actors. His name is Sean Ferris.
Okay.
He's actually very well known. He did Free Runners, Never Back Down. The
Okay.
main actor. Um, I think got married 2 years ago. So he was main actor for that. That was his first movie,
Oh wow.
and he doesn't want to release the movie because he doesn't show his good acting part of it. So he's still he was only 17 years old back then.
Oh wow.
So we had to honor his wishes and just like you know what, time to move on.
Well, I
So
think that's a good example. And we didn't necessarily get into this first time, but I do kind of want to talk about this. I think that's a great example to be able to show filmmakers what did you learn from that process, even from it not being released? Because I think there's a lot of independent filmmakers that are putting out stuff and doesn't necessarily go very far, or they're afraid it won't go anywhere. But I think that's a great way to show that. I mean, obviously, you continued working even after your first film not being able to be released, right? So you went through the whole
right,
production and all that stuff. Can you
right.
talk to them about a little bit about why? It was that? Do you feel like that was a waste of time, or do you feel like you gained a
No,
lot of information?
it was not a waste of time. Yes, because one first thing the first is we appreciate using light. Having lights, having gear to make your scene perfectly well lit
Hmm.
is very important, especially when you're shooting film and especially when you're shooting a reversal film that you cannot rewind and watch it. So you
Hmm.
had to be able to wait for labs. So every time we set a light, we had to make sure that we have perfect lighting. We have the light meter to make sure the lights on scenarios and so on. So that make me appreciate lighting is very important. So after that experience, I started doing lots of short films to learn about editing, shooting in multiple cameras because I like to use different camera to shoot films.
Hmm.
Even in drama projects, I like to use lots of multiple cameras. So
Nice.
that forced people to learn. All right, so we have 3 or 4 cameras shooting at the same time. How can we lit the scene correctly? Because it's harder to lit a scene with 3, 4 cameras at the same time than using one camera and doing all the process.
Hmm.
So it gets to the way where I actually have some DP that I work with all the time who actually understand how to like this kind of setup,
Yeah.
and it helps a lot. And obviously, every project I do, I try to find a way to challenge myself, make it better and make it better. And I then realized I found out I was the first person in Ohio to make wire work stunt fighting sequences, short film. And that actually got very popular in 2003. So I just keep going that, doing wire work all the time until
Wow.
now do a lot more action film and so on. So that's learning.
That's amazing, and I know I saw the trailer from your latest film, I believe, that actually looks like it has a fighting scene out in the rain, or
Yes.
I don't know why, but whenever I'm writing an action scene, I always tend to picture like, okay, maybe there's a hole in the roof, but I just love the idea of like the raindrop and the depth that it gives you in a scene while things are still
Yep.
moving, but. That had to pose a ton of challenges, especially when you're working with really nice equipment that is new. How
Yep.
did you guys? How were you guys able to pull something like that off without
Well,
damaging
well, first,
everything?
well, first thing first is I like to shoot in winter time because I love the snow. I like the look
Mm.
of snow outside on the ambient, and that also caused a lot of issue with cast and crew because they don't want to get cold.
Yeah.
So first thing first we do is we have to make sure the safety is very important. Safety is number one. No matter what
Yeah.
you do, safety number one.
Hmm.
You know, fight sequence, no fight sequence, safety number one. Then the next thing we do is because we shot in the rain sequence of my feature film was shot on November 8th, cold. It's about 20 degrees. So we decided to do it at nighttime. We built the rain set, and the water didn't come out as much as we wanted to, but it still works really well. So we just angle the cameras different area. And luckily, the rain only come in only certain on the actors, while we had the cameras outside the rain area, water area, so they actually got protected.
Oh wow.
Funny tidbit: the main actors, he decided to wear a cotton-based long johns, which is really bad in rain because when you get soaked, the water doesn't go away; it gets soaked in your shirt because it's a cotton base. So he got into a very cold and almost. Well, if you ever watch a movie in the future, when he's on the ground with the water's raining on him, his
Yeah.
face yellow and pale, and that's real. That's not CG. He was actually very, very, very cold, and he didn't want to keep going. And fortunately, we have a medic. We make sure that he was warm up enough. We make sure that he covered enough. We changed his shirt, and then we told him to go back out of the water, and then he managed to work it out. And very importantly, also before the whole rain scene, I went out there and make sure that I can handle it. If I can handle it, that means that he had no problem to be able to shoot the film.
That's great. No, those are the kind of things that I think interest a lot of people on the outside of filmmaking. Is
Yeah,
they don't necessarily like the overall process. If you show somebody and they're on set, they get, and they're an extra and they have never seen a film set before, it's kind of interesting. But you can really see about 80% of them are like, all right, I'm an hour in. This is kind of boring. It's like, yeah, because it's not that. But they do like watching the problem solving that like will never happen. You know what I mean? Because like, how many times are you gonna have to worry about the fake rain pouring in your house if it's going to be warm enough for people to be able to fight in, right?
exactly. Yeah.
It's a unique problem. I think that's the fun element to a huge fun element to filmmaking. But do you find that you like the problem solving, or because you've got a system and you've got so many people, the bigger your process gets, does that become more of a frustration than enjoying the process, or where do you feel you're at?
Well, the painted about process of filmmaking is scheduling, because everybody does everything for almost no money involved, and they all do it for low budget perspective. We can only shoot on weekends, and because I like to do it in winter time, so now you're adding another added coldness into the mix. So schedule everybody to go out to shoot. It's always the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, what I usually do is tell everybody else ahead of time and say, okay, you're going to be involved in this movie project. This is the time frame I'm thinking about shooting. Please try to make sure your weekends are free for this time frame. And so everybody adjusts their schedule 3-4 months beforehand.
Yeah.
And then they train my sequences, and then we go in there and shoot it. This one day we shot the final battle sequence on the snow. That was a 15-hour shoot day because nobody wanted to come back the next day to continue shooting. So we started at 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And the actor had to go through the whole process, and then the sun went down and got cold and got dark. It was under teens degrees, and we had actors wearing only short, sleeveless shirt uniforms on the fight sequences. They were cold, so what we did, we had portable heaters hanging on the trees, so they can keep them warm. I have all these behind the scene videos. You can check them out on YouTube.com at MDI Film. So you can actually watch all the behind the scenes for all the different movies I shot. So that actually will give you some idea how we do stuff.
That's perfect. I think that's a great. We're at our last minute, so let's use that to kind of just wrap into our rapid fire questions. One, if people go to watch one project that you've done, what do you feel you're most proud of, and kind of shows what you can do?
So right now the most proud one will be we shot 2 the Code, which is going to become out as a Immortal Kombat the Code. That will not be available to May end of May. But currently, right now, you can watch Inner Cell, which is a martial art comedy musical, free on Amazon Prime. So check that out. Search for Inner Cell. And actually, it's one of the most watched feature by Amazon because it keep coming out as a what to watch next, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's great. No, that's
Yeah.
and the musical element, I'm sure helps. We'll have to have you on again sometime to talk about that.
Yeah. All local people, so they sing and dance and do whatever they can to make it work.
That's awesome. Where do you like working? Where do you normally like to film around? What's your general area of choice for Ohio?
I like to film all of the places. There's no actually a favorite place. It's all depending on the script. For example, when I see a like Scott Borchers, you interview him recently.
Yeah.
He has very cool area. I have all this train wreck. What do you call it? It's an area we have a bunch of the abandoned trains.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
a cool location. So
Like
I
a
said
train
to him,
yard,
you know
yeah.
what? feature. So I'm planning for our next feature this coming winter. Actors are already prepared for getting cold, so that's very cool. We still do the audition for that, but most people who are involved will be already know they're going to get very cold. So they're going to hold it.
That's good to prepare. Honestly, that is a big thing with Ohio. You got to be. The nice thing is that if you want a film that takes place in Alaska, you've got, you can just wait till December. And if you want to film on a beach, you got beaches too in the summer. But you got to move fast with the schedule here. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, great. Any last words for inspiration for filmmakers at home?
Yeah. The most important about filmmaking is dream big, but start slow. Don't rush yourself, because if you rush, you don't have a good project. So do your best to make it work perfectly well. Have lots of planning, make sure it works, and enjoy the process.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you.
Maybe someday they'll be able to recover the old audio and figure out that first episode, because it was great. But I think you handled a lot of the same things. You were a little more efficient this time too, so that's good.
We can do ADR for the other one.
Yeah, it's true. I'll voice you, you voice me, okay? All right, thank you again for coming on the show. This is the end of the podcast, guys. We're shutting off the cameras now. Thank you again. Talk to you soon.